Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday, the 30th of January 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1. The S&P ASX 200 closed down just a touch to 7,482 points today. The banks were mixed while the retailers fell. Woolworths dropped more than 1% to $34.77 a share. Property group Goodman was up more than 1%, while Telstra also did well. The standout among the very large caps was software giant WiseTech Global. Its share price jumped 5% to $60.59. Core Lithium was the best of the large caps, up nearly 9% after releasing its quarterly activities report. Iron ore producer Champion Iron was worst, falling 7%. In corporate news, Bega Cheese will buy Vitasoy Australia as it pushes to expand its footprint in plant-based beverages and products. And Metcash said its chief executive, Scott Marshall, has resigned to pursue another career opportunity after 30 years with the company. Story number 2, plenty going on in international markets at the moment. A drone attack in Iran and promises from Beijing to boost consumption in the world's second largest economy combined to push Brent prices higher. That's not great news at the petrol bowser. There should have been good news for the big miners, with iron ore prices hitting their highest level in 7 months today at $128 a tonne. That followed the resumption of trading in China following Lunar New Year celebrations last week, but didn't seem to help the local iron ore plays, with Fortescue and Rio Tinto both down more than 1% and BHP off 0.6%. Also worth a mention this afternoon is trading in Chinese equities, which reopened after that lunar break. The CSI 300 was up as much as 2.1%, meaning the market is 20% higher than late October, which is the technical definition of a bull market. Story number 3, the government today unveiled a new national cultural policy, including a $300 million spend and the establishment of Creative Australia. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said it was all about our soul and identity. He said the establishment of Creative Australia would be a reimagined and properly funded Australia Council. It will include new functions. Music Australia will be established to support the Australian music industry. Writers Australia will provide direct support to the literature sector from 2025, and the government will establish a Poet Laureate for Australia. Under the scheme, there'll also be quotas for Australian content on streaming services from July 1 next year. Story number 4, in the world of economics, Commonwealth Bank reckons that Australia's budget deficit is running well ahead, i.e. it's lower, than forecast. We will hear lots more about the budget in coming months, and we all know that as a result of the massive spending during the COVID pandemic, Australia is set to run budget deficits for years and years. But CommBank's chief economist Stephen Halmarick reckons the underlying budget deficit for the second half of last year was running at around $14.7 billion, which is about $11.5 billion better than Treasury forecast. Why do we care about this? Well, we have to pay the money back at some point, but also the less profligate fiscal policy is, the less work interest rates have to do to rein in the economy. And finally, story number 5, copper miner Oz Minerals is about to be taken over by BHP. Well, that's the plan. But to date warned that the cost of producing copper in South Australia could rise by 10% on the back of soaring electricity prices. The company's unit costs over the past 2 years have more than trebled. The disclosures come ahead of April's vote on the $9.6 billion takeover offer. Overall, Oz Minerals reported very strong production levels today. That's for the last 3 months of 2022. In fact, it was a record output period. But for the full year, output disappointed due to earlier weather and COVID disruptions. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 30th of January 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.